Welcome to Game Week 35. We've got Thogden back and a very special guest who is an actor from a Ted Lasso series.
It's my upper hamstring, coach.
Well, you tore your butt, son. There's nothing to be ashamed of, okay?
And I've got a funny story of how I met him, but we'll get onto that later. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I can't believe the season is nearly over. But last week you got 5 points. I got 9 points. And the amazing Visca Barca, all the way from Germany, claims he doesn't know the Premier League. 13 points.
Yeah.
He mugged you right off.
Well, he called me saying he didn't want to go on Prem predictions because he doesn't know enough about the teams, and he walks away with more than double my points.
Well, I want to know if you've conceded yet, Theo. I mean, we got £1,000 bet on this.
What do you mean?
You remember that, don't you?
What, £1,000 bet?
You were a little bit drunk at the time, but we did make that bet.
What bet?
West Ham United against Liverpool is 8th against 3rd. Two teams slipping a little bit in recent weeks there. Now, West Ham were massacred by Crystal Palace. What happened there, lad?
I think West Ham are just tired from playing European football. They were leading against Leverkusen and bottled it. They've had a lot of distraction in different competitions. Now they've got to focus on the Premier League, and to be honest, there's not much for them to play for. They're not going down. They're not getting any European spots. It's a bit difficult now for David Moyes.
Do you know what? They might get a minor European spot, Theo. You don't think they can?
It's all up in the air with how the coefficient works. Because England are doing really badly this year, we're getting less European spots, which is a shame because they're changing all the tournaments. I don't really know who's going to get what. They should still be fired up to beat Liverpool because the Reds are on very bad form. They lost over 2 legs against Atalanta. They got smashed by Everton at Goodison Park. You watched that game live, Dad?
I watched that, Theo. I'm going to talk about the Everton players later. But first of all, last week, Liverpool did beat Fulham. It was job done there. But nothing went right, did it, against Everton? So the likes of Nunez and Diaz and Salah just didn't turn up, did they?
There's no excuses when you have quality like that and you're playing in a derby, and actually there's a lot to play for now for Liverpool. They have to win this game. It's a no-brainer. Maybe it was too much pressure. Maybe Everton, being at home, just thought, we can be the story, we can stop their run, and they did it. The Hammers have lost 13 of the last 15 head-to-heads. So Jurgen Klopp has a really good record over David Moyes.
I reckon this could be close. West Ham 1, Liverpool 2.
I'm going to go different. I'm not sure if I'll be right, but West Ham 2, Liverpool 1.
What?
Yes.
Theo, who's this guest you're talking about?
Dad, it's a famous actor who I actually met at the Battle of the Bridge back when it was really important because Leicester won the league that day. He is a Leicester fan, so he'll be talking about the Premier League next season. Introducing Tom Hendryk.
Hello Thogden, Tom Hendryk here. Thank you very much for having me on your Premier League prediction video. It feels like a lifetime ago since we first met. Liverpool have had a few bad games recently, but I feel this is going to be the turning point. I'm going to say West Ham 1, Liverpool 3.
Wolverhampton Wanderers against Luton Town is 12th against 18th. 2 more teams in rotten form at the moment. Last week, Theo, for Wolves, 2 games, 2 defeats, no goals scored. That's not good enough.
It's awful. People that bought Wolves players for their double game week got nothing in return.
Yeah, I know.
2 losses, no win in the last 6 Premier League outings. Gary O'Neill's gone from unbelievable form the club had never seen, to something that they never expected.
And they're playing a Luton team who was absolutely smashed against Brentford. They've now lost 4 of the last 5 games. Is there any way they can stay up?
I put them in my 3 teams to go down, and it's unfortunate because I love Rob Edwards and the way the team are fighting every single game week. But I'm sorry, 1 win across 13 league matches for the Hatters, it's not good enough. This is the time where you have to find a way. And it's funny that both the home teams actually lost that are playing each other, so someone has to win this game, and I think it's going to be Wolves. Hwang Chan, he's back and ready to go. I think they're going to have enough here to get a 2-1 win. And
I reckon Wolves win this one. Low scoring, 1-0.
We go different, but we agree. Over to the Ted Lasso actor, Tom Hendryk.
I will really want Luton to stay up, mainly because I really want Forest to go down, but I mean, that's me being a Leicester fan. I can't see Luton winning, but I can't see Wolves winning either. I'm going to score draw. I'm going to say Wolves 2, Luton 2.
Fulham against Crystal Palace is 13th against 14th. It's an interesting mid-table London derby. Now Fulham slipping a bit in recent weeks. Crystal Palace, the absolute opposite there.
I know, it's mental. Now, we're not talking about Selhurst Park, unfortunately for Tom Hendryk, where he acted for most of the cast during Ted Lasso. We're talking about Craven Cottage, which I'm sure is a stadium that they would have loved to use. And it's actually closer to Richmond as well. It's closer to Richmond than Crystal Palace. Between these 2 teams, there's a difference of 3 points. So it's everything to play for. Fulham were last at home, but lost to Liverpool 3-1. But if they are still dreaming of top 10 and getting a consecutive top 10 finish for the first time since the 2011-2012 season, they have to win this game. But the problem is, Dad, Crystal Palace right now are on fire. Mateta, 4 goals in 2 Premier League games, Eze and Elise both scoring 2. Oliver Glasner has brought life back into that team.
He has.
And that's why he won Frankfurt the Europa League.
It's funny though, because 3 weeks ago I joked about Crystal Palace finishing 14th, 14th or 14th. They win 3 in a row. Suddenly they could finish 13th or 12th.
Fulham will be looking to turn it around at home. They've had less fixtures than Palace. They're more rested. I can see a draw written all over this game. I'm going to go 1-1.
Do you know what, Theo? I can see goals here. I think this will be a really exciting derby, even though it doesn't really matter in some ways. I'm going for 2-2.
Well, Palace have been in pretty good form recently, but Fulham are at home, so I'm going to say score draw 1-1.
Newcastle United against Sheffield United is 7th against 20th. 2 teams who lost last week. And if my memory's right, Theo, wasn't this 8-0 last time they played?
Mental. Yeah, it was. That was the reverse fixture scoreline. I'm thinking about going hard on Newcastle players on FPL because everyone's looking at the double game weeks of Chelsea and Spurs, and we'll get to that later. But I feel like 90 minutes against this Blades team at home is almost like a double game week in itself. They've conceded 4 goals back-to-back against Manchester United, against Burnley. And they've had 8-0, 6-0, 5-0 before that. So, Dad, I think Newcastle can go hard and they'll have something to fight for. The calendar has blessed them. After losing 2-0 to Palace midweek, they'll want to come back with a big result, won't they? Anthony Gordon, Alexander Isak, they'll be on fire.
Theo, I agree with you, and I feel very sorry for the Blades fans who've seen their team concede 92 goals this season. It's going to go up over 100 in the next 2 or 3 game weeks. There's only one side winning this, 3-1 to the Geordies.
And I also agree with you, Dad. Newcastle 4, Sheffield United 0. There's no questions.
Sheffield United are down, let's face it. Newcastle have way too much quality for them, especially at St James's. I'm going to say 3-0. The Harvey Barnes brace.
Manchester United against Burnley of Lancashire is a massive Lancashire derby, 6th against 19th. Theo, now Man United left it very late against Sheffield United. Bruno got a couple, Maguire got one, even Højlund scored.
Yeah, it's the sort of matches they need now in their run-in to get confidence back after that Coventry, Wembley turmoil. I really thought that was over at 4-3. VAR, what a crazy old game. It's the first time we're talking about that match. To you guys, Manchester United did bounce back, but they were behind at 2 points. Bruno Fernandes is back in form. He should be thinking that he can make this game about himself against Burnley, couldn't he, Dad?
And I agree. He's been brilliant in recent weeks. And Harry Maguire, Theo, he's been popping up with the goods, hasn't he? Time and time again.
The thing is, Burnley will come here with no pressure. And no fear, as Vincent Kompany last said in his press conference. They've gone and only lost 1 game in the last 7 matches, which for Burnley is ridiculously good. But I feel another L coming here. I'm going to go 3-1. What do you reckon, Dad?
I disagree, Theo. I think this is a potential banana skin because Burnley are playing well at the moment. They smashed Sheffield United. They've lost 1 of the last 5 games, and they're not scared of Man United. They've got a wonderful manager there. I think this will be 2-1. I bottled going for a draw. 2-1 to Man United.
So you agree with me then?
I do, but I don't think it'll be a 2-goal deficit. I think there's going to be twists and turns in this game.
But let's go over to the Leicester fan. Tom, what do you think?
Well, Man U haven't been playing well at all. Coventry should have won the FA Cup game. Sheffield United were winning at Old Trafford, but I still think United have too much quality for Burnley. I think it'll be a professional performance. United 2, Burnley 0.
Everton against Brentford is 16th against 15th, and these are 2 teams with really good recent form. Let's talk about Everton, Theo. 2 games last week, 2 wins, 2 clean sheets, and I tell you what I've worked out this week. The centre-back partnership for England should be Tarkowski and Branthwaite, full stop.
Wait, are you serious, Dad? John
Absolutely.
Stones, Harry Maguire?
Those 2, the 2 that I've mentioned, Theo.
You're going to get absolutely clipped saying
I
this.
don't care. I watched them against Liverpool. I thought Tarkowski and Branthwaite were absolutely superb. Look at Everton's defensive record this season. Now, this is Everton struggling with potential relegation. They've got the 4th best defensive record in the league. They've got a manager who's got them playing. They really care about clean sheets, about blocks, about interceptions. I would have those 2 start for England.
Well, it's the 3rd match in 6 days at Goodison Park, Dad, so backing off that information, surely you go with another clean sheet. No Ivan Toney madness.
Well, I tell you what, Brentford did some really good things against Luton. I think that victory was coming. They're a good team, but this is going to be a narrow Everton win, 1-0.
Well, Dad, they've been deducted several points in the season, which is ridiculous, but they've still found a way to mathematically be safe if they win here.
Yes.
I think this screams of a 2-0 win. No goals for Brentford. The story will be Dwight McNeil and still Ryan having a party in the Goodison Park stands.
I mean, Everton had a hell of a result against Liverpool. So I think they're going to keep going. Brentford will score, but Everton 2, Brentford 1.
Aston Villa against Chelsea is 4th against 9th. Now, Villa had a comeback win, didn't they, against Bournemouth. It's looking good for them in 4th place.
Yes, the 8 p.m. kickoff on Saturday. I find it weird. Why are they doing 5:30s and 8 p.m. kickoffs after the 3 games? That never used to happen, did it?
Didn't, Theo.
Anyway, it's
all
fine.
about the money.
I know, but Aston Villa, Chelsea, Villa Park, they've had a good few days, those fans at home. 3-1 victory going from behind against the Cherries, and then a new contract extension from Unai Emery. And yeah, I mean, they're unbeaten. 5 matches at Villa Park, scored 14 goals. It's a real party for them.
But can someone please explain Chelsea to me? Because they batter Everton, Everton beat Liverpool, and then Chelsea go and get battered by Arsenal. I do not get this league.
I think Villa win this, and it's a simple reason. Chelsea concede too many goals. Last game week, 5 goals against Arsenal. Embarrassing performance. You know, Poch said in the interview that they gave up, and they did.
Yes.
They knew they weren't good enough, and never, when it's 11v11, should you have that attitude. Look at Coventry at Wembley against United. So I think they concede 3 more against Villa, and it's not even an upset saying that. They should go into this game as favourites. They need water carriers. They need experienced players like James Milner, someone like him, but a Chelsea version. Basically what Thiago Silva's added to them.
Yes.
And you can see how much they missed him against Arsenal. You know, when he's gone, who's going to be the experienced man in the middle of the park, centre back or centre mid, to keep these prima donnas' heads together? Because there's too many, it's a problem. And they're going to get battered until they figure it out. So 3-1 is my score. What do you reckon?
2-1 to Aston Villa.
Villa are going to win. They're going to get Champions League this season. I'm going to say it's going to be another dismantling. Villa 4, Chelsea 1.
AFC Bournemouth against Brighton, and Hove Albion is 10th against 11th. It's a South Coast derby, isn't it, Theo? It doesn't really matter that much. Well, can you believe Brighton are in the bottom half?
Can you believe that Brighton have such a terrible form at Bournemouth? They've only won 1 from the last 4 games at that stadium.
Yes.
Ridiculous when you think over the years that Brighton have been the better team, and now that Evan Ferguson's got a long-term injury, De Zerbi doesn't really care anymore. It looks like he's got his eyes on a bigger job going forward. It's looking like a Bournemouth home win.
It's looking like Bournemouth are in the better form at the moment. That was a really good win against Wolves. Remember, they were down to 10 men as well, Theo.
Gary O'Neill against his old team, you thought he'd turn up and end his bad form, and then they go win. I mean, Iriola keeps finding a way.
He does, Theo. Brighton, meanwhile, was smashed by Man City last night. 4-0 at home. That is not good, is it?
Phil Foden.
So I'm just going to sit on the fence here. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to go with a 2-1 Bournemouth win. I think Thogden's missed an absolute sitter there.
Relatively even game, especially because Bournemouth are playing at home. 0-0.
Tottenham Hotspur against Arsenal Football Club is 5th against 1st. This is the North London derby. It is massive around here, isn't it, Theo? Spurs are rested. They didn't have a Premier League game last week, did they, Theo?
Number 173, North London derby. High stakes for both, but do you think it's the first derby ever where Arsenal have played 4 times before Tottenham's last match?
Wow, those are Thogden facts. We should have had that music.
I know. There's no Thogden music. I don't often come up with the facts. The only problem for Spurs is they've got a long-term injury in Udogie now. But apart from that, they've got a fully fit, rested squad. And maybe Richarlison's back.
I mean, what Arsenal have been very good at recently, Theo, is getting clean sheets away from home. Is it 5 in a row, I think it is? I could be wrong with that. Spurs have scored in the last 25 home games.
Not this one, Dad. That form goes out the window. It's derby day. When they're rested up and you've got your minds on one big performance, Ange Postecoglou, he's an attacking manager. He's exciting. He's someone that will get under Arsenal's skin and really make it difficult for them, especially with the pressure on the line of the title run. They have to win every single game till the end of the season because they've got City with extra games looking over their shoulder thinking any slip up now will attack you. And this could be the biggest game of the season based off the fact that if Tottenham stop them, it could be over for Arteta.
That is true, Theo, but last week, Arsenal, 2 games, 2 wins, 2 clean sheets. They're doing all that they can, and because of that, Theo, I'm going to say Tottenham Hotspur 0.
No.
Arsenal 2.
No!
Yes.
Well, they'll fancy their chances after battering Chelsea 5-0. There's no doubt about that. I think that's the 3rd London derby this season where they've had a scoreline of 5+ goals. It's not going to happen here. The last 5 head-to-head games for Tottenham at home against Arsenal, 4 of them have been Tottenham home wins. Let history rewrite itself. Tottenham 3, Arsenal 2 is my prediction.
Oh, Jeremy Beadle's in the room. Right, give us your prediction.
That's my actual... Dad, I'm saying it. Tottenham
I know.
win.
You do this joke and then Jeremy Beadle, blah, blah.
I'll catch up points for you in the Premier League predictions tally and you'll understand why. You'll find out the hard way.
You have lost your mind.
Let's see.
No son of mine predicts Spurs to beat Arsenal. You're just showing your lack of ball knowledge. So go on, do it again.
No.
Cass, just,
I'll say it again because I'm proud of it. When Son scores the winner, Spurs 3, Arsenal 2. No, don't cut it out. You'll see it.
North London derby. a lot on the line. Arsenal going for the league. Spurs trying to get Champions League. Spurs are playing at home. They're both going to want to win it. Spurs 3, Arsenal 3.
Nottingham Forest against Manchester City is 17th against 2nd. It's a game with massive significance at both ends of the table. But the elephant in the room, Theo, Nottingham Forest lost to Everton 2-0.
Yeah.
Ashley Young could have given away 3 penalties. None were given. Talk to me. How many penalties should there have been?
Well, they kicked off online because they were mad.
Yes.
The Ashley Young handball was dead on. That was
That
the most
was
obvious
a
one.
penalty.
It was nailed, and he was even laughing about it on the pitch and then did the sarcastic interview after. It's actually really wrong that they got that. The other 2 were debatable. I mean, they probably weighed towards penalties, but to think all 3 were not given, it is pretty shocking. I mean, the way they've handled the situation. I know they've lost it.
They handle it very badly. I mean, that is a bad lose. You cannot
to
do
tweet
that.
Saying, oh, we know there's a Luton fan in the VAR room. It's embarrassing. Yeah.
But for me, Theo, 2 of those were penalties. If I was a Forest fan, player, director, whatever, I'd be very annoyed.
This week, there won't be much to cheer about. They've got City at home.
Yeah.
Surely there's 0 chance of a win.
But I'm going to go Forest 1. I'll give them a goal. Man City 3.
A big 2-0 win on Pep's 300th match in charge of Manchester City.
I really want Forest to go down. They will score. Chris Wood always scores in these kind of events. So I'm going to say Forest 1, City 2.
And finally, there's a double game week game, Theo, and it's Chelsea against Tottenham Hotspur. And all I've written down in my notes is another tasty London derby. So talk to me about this game.
Well, it's funny that you can have Chelsea versus Tottenham in a European match day week. Will you be watching Aston Villa at home to Olympiacos or Chelsea at home to Tottenham? It's weird this season that we talk about Villa in European spots, not these teams, and they are catching up fixtures. It's a massive game for both of them. Spurs will be, I believe, on very high confidence after beating Arsenal. You said they've lost. So who's going to go to the Battle of the Bridge? Now, I've got a fact about this game.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why I brought on our special guest this week from Ted Lasso. Before he was on all these big films and stuff like that, I met him in the stands because I went up to him, very young. It actually was one of the first big videos on my channel. And I said to him, I found a Leicester shirt in the Chelsea end, in East Upper.
Yeah.
I remember this. And I went up to him and said, how does it feel? You just won the Premier League. And he...
What's it like to be a Leicester fan right now?
You have no idea.
And that clip went
Wow,
viral.
yes.
In Italy, people were talking about it. Leicester fans going wild. But going back to the football, Battle of the Bridge.
Do you know what, Theo? This will be a very good game of football. There'll be a lot of goals. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
I'm going to go for a Chelsea big home win. They have to have something to cheer about. I'm going to go for a 3-2 Chelsea win.
This is, of course, the game where we first met, and I think it's going to be just as explosive. And I think it's going to be the same scoreline. I'm going to say Chelsea 2, Spurs 2.
Thank you for watching this video. Enjoy the Premier League football, all starting from Saturday early to Thursday night. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.